What's up, guys? We're back on the Secret Black People Meeting with my lovely special guest, Courtney Banks. Growing up, did you get any like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air jokes? Like the Banks family?
Not growing up, just moving here.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you've gotten a lot?
I mean, I do feel like I'm looking for my real parents. I would like them to live in Bel-Air.
Okay, yeah, right.
I mean, that would be nice.
Yeah, where are you from?
I'm from Virginia. I mean, my real parents are great. Whoa, what?
Virginia?
Yes.
That's funny. You're the second female guest on our show, but Angelica Mackey's also from Virginia too. So like, yeah. So every female guest we've had have been from Virginia. So
is that VA or is it? Doesn't matter. We're high, you guys. Let's not joke.
What is Virginia like? What is?
Virginia is where I lived. Very white.
Okay, because I'm from Mississippi, so.
Was it very white?
Yeah.
Where you lived?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just very white. Yeah. I mean, in a way that I didn't even notice. But
yeah, because it's just normal.
It's just, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I realized growing up that I was so sheltered. Like, the only time I saw black people was if I went to church.
Watch BT.
No, I did not watch BT.
Oh,
I watched CMT a lot.
You watch
I really
CMT?
like country music.
So
yeah.
you like country music?
I loved country music. I'm like, I don't know where I'm at with it now.
If I was terrible, I would have cracked like a little Las Vegas joke there, but I'm not an awful person. But you like legit like country music.
I loved country music, yeah. Like Reba McEntire, Shania Twain.
I do like Reba because of the show though.
Oh, great show.
Yeah.
But Shania Twain really got me. She was like a powerful woman. So, but like I only saw black people at church or if in my family. And then the only other time I saw black people was like on the news committing a crime. Oh, so it's like crazy. But this is what's important though. Why the media is so important because I realized moving how untrue that was. Yeah. You know, it was just because that's the only thing that I was shown. Okay. And if you just show people those images, like what we think about third world countries, or you know what, like they just show us what they want the whole storyline to be, and you have to really interact with people to know what they're like, and that to me, like this is the most black friends I've ever had in my whole life.
Aww. I'm glad to be one of them.
You are.
I'm glad to be one. I'm glad to have you on Secret Black People Meeting though. We're gonna have to get you some more black people in your life. But that's true though with the media thing. Cause I ran track, so I had like some African teammates, and so like seeing their like some of them were like had money, like, and so like it's just like seeing like my friends them talk about no, this is what Zimbabwe really looks like, and this is what's in Nigeria, like. Because we're all like taught like they're just holding signs for like 10 cents a day and stuff like that. But it was cool. So I get what you're saying.
Well, what's interesting too is like Africans do not want to be considered black.
Yeah, I ran into that.
They're like absolute.
We're gonna do an episode on that one time.
Doesn't that show just how oppressed black Americans are?
Yeah.
That, like Africans are like, hell no, we did not get involved in all that shit.
I had a guy on my track team. He was from like like a lot of Africans some of them like lived in England for a little while. Their parents are fluent, so he was affluent, and he was just kind of like He told me from the get go, I don't want to be associated with you. I don't want to be associated with all you black people and stuff like that. And I remember we stopped at a gas station on the way to a meet, and there's some guys pants sagging and just acting real like ignorant in the store. And he was like, see, that's the kind of stuff that I don't want to be associated with. And I was like, bro, we not all like that. Like, it's just like, if you probably stopped watching black movies after 1998. Like, we
How
not
do you
all...
combat that, though? Like,
I don't know.
do you have a problem with guys pants sagging?
No, I don't
really?
care.
I do. Why? Why do we do that?
I don't know.
You guys, there's already enough shit against us.
Yeah.
It's not like we don't.
I mean, I don't do it.
We've proven to have such great fashion. Look at like so many men's athletes. I think that's really helping that they are dressing really well. Yeah. I think it's encouraging everybody else to take pride in dressing well. Yeah. But I mean, we're already such an easy target.
Yes.
Don't give people. It's like if you were ugly. Yeah. And then you also had a terrible personality.
Right.
you know, right. You already have this.
Yeah.
Don't give them an extra.
You don't want to give them extra.
Let's do better.
I get it.
Like we have to hold each other accountable. I'm sorry.
I agree.
My dad used to say when I wanted to start dating, he made this. He printed out a check, like a questionnaire.
So you had a good day. Okay.
I had a great day. He printed out a questionnaire, and one of the things was like, and he was like, and his pants cannot be sagging. He needs to wear a belt.
That's hilarious.
And I'm pretty sure my dad has a shotgun. I don't really know what's going on with that. But
Virginia, so.
Yeah, so to him, like this is where I got a lot of my my beliefs and stances on just what it means to be black or whatever is my parents are older. So like my mom looks white.
Oh, okay.
She was the first to integrate her county's high schools.
Makes sense.
So like her and her brother and her sister and her other sister, they all look white. They're 60% Irish, which we found out from 23andMe, right?
Oh,
You know,
wow.
a little ancestry thing.
Okay.
But because they had a little bit of black in them, they had to go on a separate bus. They had different books. They got spat at, and just because that is what
They weren't
was
even majority
accepted.
black.
Right,
They were
and then
60% Irish.
my dad's side of the family, my mom got ostracized for marrying my dad because he's brown.
Right.
Like her aunt stopped talking to her because they just wanted to like ride life out like looking white. They were like, "Why are you
Well, who
messing
was the
this
one
up?"
that had the baby with the black dude?
Somebody down the line. I mean, this is a long line of people like passing for real.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
my mom got like ostracized and stuff, and I was never raised to say I was mixed or like I've always just been raised to be black.
Yeah.
But when my parents, like my aunt has told me stuff about like, you know, when they had to ride in the back of the bus or like when they had to go to segregated things, and so when they ask me stuff at Thanksgiving and Christmas, we'll have dinner all together, you know, and then we'll have these like meetings kind of, like all of us together.
Yeah.
And they tell stories and like, you know, stories about those kind of things. And they ask me, I just don't understand how young kids can make the N-word mean something good now because they only know what it means to them.
Yeah, I get that.
So it's like, I feel like I'm in the middle, like I understand what people are doing with it, but I just know I sound white as hell, so if I say it, it's going to sound racist. So I just don't say it.
I get that. Because me, I say it a lot, and I'm known for saying it a lot. I say it a lot.
Well, where are you
stage.
from? Mississippi?
I'm from Mississippi.
Okay, yeah. Well, I
It's just like, so it's just like, I say it a lot. I say it on stage a lot. And I've even been told by black and white that I might say that word a little bit. Do I personally care?
Too much?
Yeah. Do I personally care? No.
But do you ever think about what it... Because that's the big question, right? Like, why can't white people say the N-word?
Oh, I know exactly why.
Why?
Because when they used it was for something, it was to call black people ignorant. It was used to oppress and do all these things. And then when black people, they turned it into this term of endearment. And so now you live in a world that's in this country that's basically shaped by slavery, shaped by white supremacy and all these things. So you get all these benefits of being white, you get all these privileges of being white. And so now you want this one word that we've...
Oh, they want it so
you
bad.
got all of that.
They want it so bad.
You got all of that, and now you got this... You want this one word that we turn into this term of endearment, which is like crazy to me. But I'm just kind of like, there's so many things like you can do as a white person. There's so many things that I can't do as a black person, and you just want this one word that I have, this one thing. It's crazy to me.
The thing that bothers me with that argument of like, well, how come it's bad if you say it this way, or it's different if a black person says it? We cannot be ignorant to the fact that, I mean, the whole last election was ran on emotion, right?
Yeah.
People were running on however they felt, whether they felt a little misogynistic, whether they felt a little racist, whether they felt like their jobs were going, or whether they felt like mad there was a black president, whatever it was emotion. Emotion runs life.
Oh, yeah.
So when you hear when a black person says the N-word to me in like a nice way, I'm always like, oh my God, I feel so loved.
Aww.
Like you do. Because you can hear how someone is saying something to you.
For
and
real.
so for people to even question that, it's like, you know why you can't say it.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not going to be that same affection.
Because like with black people, it's just like, it's this whole like, I feel like black people as a whole, like we're like this family almost, like we're like this thing. Because like, have you ever been somewhere something crazy will go down and there'll be like one other black person, y'all just like make eye contact, you're like, I got you, nigga, like I got you.
Or
like,
whenever like a, sad to say, a mass shooting happens and you're like,
yeah, like, check that headline real quick, you know? Because I was at the comedy, were you at show go up the night it happened at the comedy show? Yeah, I remember a couple of us were out there and a couple of black people were like looking at each other like, please don't be black, oh my God. Because like, it's just like those things, when those things happen, we have to pay for it as a monolith. When
I lived in D.C., so I live in Virginia, right?
Yeah.
The D.C. sniper
was
when I was in high school.
Oh, no.
And he was hitting like the mall that I went to.
Yeah.
And we had to like cancel a football game and like be on lockdown like for a few days or something. And when it came out that he was black,
ooh, shoot! And with DC having such like
we cannot do that shit. And that's what I'm saying. We can't. We cannot give another reason.
No, because it's just like when things like that happen, it's like the rest of us pay for it too. It's like this whole. It's like that's why I feel like That's why I feel like Barack Obama winning president, black people are like paying for it. It's like whether good or bad, when we do something, the rest of the group that's how we're treated. We're treated like this huge monolith. But if a white person does something like that, they're a lone wolf. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So it's crazy. Like you said, like I bet that was because you were in Virginia. I bet that was rough.
I just wonder where that like need of because it seems to go back quite far. I just wonder where that need of like needing to be the supreme race or needing to be, because you can track it back so far through your European history and all that stuff. Like I understand like needing to, if you were a scavenger or something, like needing to secure land and needing to have a tribe and all that stuff. But we've got laws and we've got like, you know, we're supposed to be representing each other in government and stuff. But it's still, like, it really does, I feel like a lot of times come down to this thing of, like, I gotta root for my black person, I gotta root for my white person. Like,
Issa Rae said.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for everybody black.
black.
That's how I live my life. I'll root for everybody black. That's how I see it. Unless they're Eric Abernathy. I love that guy. He's great. He's great. You know, but I got a lot of white friends. I love my white people. I do. Because, like, especially, like, when a white person gets it, you know, like, it's just like, wow, like, you're amazing. You know, like, you're a unicorn. It's great.
I mean, it's just to me, and I think like I've had black people tell me I'm not, you know, like the right kind of black person or whatever.
That's not cool.
But to me, like where I came from, I was homecoming queen. That pissed a lot of white people off, right? Sure and so was my sister was prom queen. Like, you know?
That was everybody.
And like, I was president of my class all the time, and I was like super, like I was involved in everything.
You were in a sorority in college too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that I felt like I had to hold myself to a standard of, I cannot mess this up.
Yeah.
You know, my parents worked too hard to
mess that up. Do you think a lot of times where, like, black kids that are raised, I've asked people this before, black kids that are raised in quote-unquote good homes and stuff, do you feel like there's, like, this real pressure on that black kid to succeed? Because it's just kind of like, my black parents did what a lot of other black parents weren't able to do, so that means I have to go over and beyond. What do you think about that?
I don't think it matters what household you're from. I think every black kid feels like that.
Just that pressure to really do
I
something?
think and to me, I see so many inconsistencies because I almost feel like a double agent a lot. Like, and I really want to go into politics eventually.
Hey, do you think?
And my parents were always like, you should be a lawyer. And I was like, no. Because I feel like they're pretentious.
Watch them emails.
Right?
Watch them emails.
I put everything out there. All my scandals will be out before I ever run.
That'll ruin a whole election, apparently.
So you can't say anything about me.
People care more about emails than rape. So
pretty much, yeah.
So watch that.
That's true. But I think that, like, to me, I could see, like, I went to like a private school when I was younger.
Okay.
And then I went to a really nice public school. And then because I'd gone to the private school, I was advanced in learning. So then I got into the gifted program. Then I got to go to a gifted program within my high school. Okay. We went on field trips every month. We had access to the best of everything.
Okay.
And we were only like 15 people from my school, 15 people from another school. And the taxpayer dollars went towards this. Why can't every kid get that kind of education?
Right.
Why am I getting this education when there are people who don't have books that are even up to date?
It's ridiculous.
But what's annoying is I was in that environment and I would say stuff like that.
People
were like, you're ungrateful or you're not patriotic or... You know, like when 9/11 happened, my mom works at the Pentagon. My mom worked at the Pentagon. Right. She worked there when it happened. She lost friends. She was like, we should not go to war. Yeah. I said we should not go to war, and I was like ostracized. But everyone was like calling, French fries freedom fries and shit. This was before your time. I'm old.
That's crazy.
But like things, like seeing those things, this is what bothers me is you can talk to a white person sometimes and say that, and they almost don't want to believe it's true that kind of inequality does exist.
Yeah, it's this whole entitlement thing. Like, I'm from Mississippi, terrible school system. I went to college in Oklahoma, terrible school system out there. I was majoring in social work, so I worked with a lot of kids that were in these really bad school systems. So I saw it for myself. And it was like, you'll have my college was in Tulsa. There's a little town called Jinx that's really rich, really white. They get a new football stadium and all this crazy shit every year. And it's great school and all this kind of funding and everything. You can go up the street 30, 40 minutes. There's black kids that don't have the proper books. the environment's really bad, the schools run down, all these kind of things.
That just bothers me so much.
It's crazy. It is because a lot of people don't understand public schooling is funded off property taxes. So the schools are funded around who lives around it. So if you have people,
and that's why they redistrict so often.
Exactly, all the redlining. So when you're renting out of apartments the houses are small, the money going to those schools is minimal compared to whatever the federal budget is.
And if people don't want you in their district, they can say,
exactly,
well, let's redistrict this little part out. Just like with gerrymandering, which is how they district or how they figure out what the voting districts are. How likely they're to vote for whatever, whichever way, which are getting through the Supreme Court hopefully right now about gerrymandering because it's a fucking bullshit thing. You guys should Google it. It's terrible. But
a lot of people don't know about gerrymandering.
But those are the things that bother me. When people have things okay, like the middle class, like the white people who voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
They had things okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But they felt like they weren't getting enough. And to be honest, they weren't, because we've been killing our middle class for decades.
True.
And that's understandable. But they wanted to believe that we could blame it on like people who are poor or uneducated or whatever. It's weird that they can't see that it's the 1% oppressing us.
And
I don't understand that.
The 1%, they control the media and the narrative. Of course, why would they want you to direct the blame to them? But we direct the blame to poor people. And so
they teach this thing like like if you need Medicare or if you need. I've had food stamps. I'm a fucking struggling
I'm trying
comedian.
to right now. I'm in the process.
And it's so hard to get the process to get. And this is why I want to do politics too, because I've had an abortion. I've had a DUI. I've been on food stamps. I'm a regular fucking person. Hey, what's and I have no shame in those things.
Yeah.
And I feel like there should be people who actually know what it's like to go through that. Because if you have to go try to get food stamps, you have to fill out all these forms.
Yeah.
You have to try to call.
Yeah.
What if you don't have a phone? Okay, that's a thing. Try to do it online. I tried to do it online twice. Didn't go through. What if you don't have a computer? What if you have to work 3 jobs just to live where you're living and you don't have time to go down to the office? They make it so difficult. So for people to be mooching off of the system is so small.
And it's just like they call it mooching off the system when you're on a welfare program, but they don't talk about all these subsidies and tax cuts and all these things for rich people.
Right.
They're good businessmen.
Right.
They're the one mooching.
100%.
Yeah, like I interned for a production company, and it's just like you could have dinner with some big TV star. Let's say we're taking Michael B. Jordan out to eat. Mm-hmm. We spend $2,000 on
and you can write it off.
Write it off taxes. Is that not taking advantage of the government? I don't know.
But people who are working 2 jobs just trying to like make a way for their kid, which you don't want to give proper education. This is the way I broke up with a guy because of this once.
Wow, you dedicated.
Well, he was real stupid. I worked at Hooters, so I worked at Hooters during college, and I met this white dude, and he was dumb. And he really believed that people mooched off of the system.
Yeah,
this was before
it's so ingrained in society, so you'll pick it up, you know.
And this was before I ever needed I was just in college and working and like getting extra money, I didn't need any help with anything. And I was like, okay, cool. Because you were born where you're born, do you understand that you could live somewhere where another county, they have completely different textbooks, or they cut music programs, which means that there's a lot more time on kids' hands to do things. Yeah. They don't have time to enrich themselves. You can make a career doing that. Exactly. But you're not helping those people. There are people where you don't have different ways of learning, where you actually can make curriculum.
Sometimes not even enough teachers.
You have apathetic teachers. It's just, I was like, why do you deserve this more because you were born just here but not there? And it's like he didn't see that, and I was like, and here's the thing, if we teach people more, they're going to be more educated. We give them good sexual education, not just abstinence education.
In these poor states, teen pregnancy is so high.
It's so high, but that's what they want because they want people to stay poor.
Exactly.
So if you don't give people the appropriate amount of knowledge, you can keep them in whatever system you want. So true. So, they don't give proper sexual education.
You earned your first assignment. Overtime, let's go!
David, you look like Ice Cube if he messed around and ate a triple-double.
That's what happens when you shoot at an apartment. Anyway, we're still here with my lovely guest, Courtney Banks. She's in here dropping knowledge, talking about her future political career. Y'all better vote for her, regardless of what her emails say.
This is getting real serious
Right?
for me.
Right. Now you just announced you're running for president.
Yeah, now I have a political career.
Right. Now she has a political career. But you're an actress as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me kind of like what you think about this whole like Harvey Weinstein creep business going on in Hollywood right now. All the people telling their stories, some people coming out and saying that, yeah, I knew about this for a long time, all that. What do you think?
Right. I mean, I think a lot of what needs to be said about it has been said. Like, obviously, it's terrible and unexcusable, and we can all agree on that. But I think the deeper issue is things like Rose McGowan getting blocked from Twitter
Right.
for calling him out for
Right.
his sexual harassment. We have a president who threatens all of our lives. I have anxiety that I have been diagnosed for, and when he says threats to North Korea,
Yeah, that's crazy.
I cannot get through a whole day. Like, I have such bad anxiety.
Wow.
And he's allowed to do those things and taunt people,
Yeah.
but somebody a woman calling out a powerful man for something that he's done is just not okay.
Right. It's crazy. And it's this whole stigma of, it's like almost like it's with sexism, it's with racism, it's with any issue, the person calling it out and telling the truth is like worse than the actual action that happened.
Right, because we hate the truth.
Yeah,
I mean,
we hate the truth, and we're always trying to save face in the way America moves on symbols. And so it's
America is the best PR company
seriously
ever made.
Seriously.
Like, we have this amazing advertisement of freedom and liberties and respecting each other and a melting pot.
But then when you give your opinion,
And we hate each other.
Yeah.
But why? Why? Because we enact laws that benefits some, and we get scared that we're not gonna. It's this thing that because we all don't look alike. Usually, countries that look alike have more peace.
Yeah.
Because we don't look alike, we're scared that we're all gonna stab each other in the back. So it's like we make these laws and stuff that help each other. And I think that with capitalism involved in that, you have a person like Harvey Weinstein who's bringing a lot of revenue.
Yes.
You know?
Because he had a lot of revenue to begin with.
Right.
Where he's from.
But I think that this is the bigger discussion, is that it's just on dudes. Like, I see so many dudes say stuff. Being a comic, you see dudes say things. Today, I have been talking about, on my podcast, guys at the Comedy Store or within the comedy scene harassing women, and women have opened up on my podcast about those things.
Yeah.
And one of my guy friends was so mad at me, and I was like, you're clearly mad at me because I don't want to date you, or I don't want to fuck you, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And he was calling me a whore, he was calling me a slut, all of the, and I was like, I know why you're doing it, but I don't understand if you see why you're doing it.
Exactly.
Today, he sent me a text message, and he was like, I was just really thinking about all of this stuff, and he was like, I'm so sorry, I was a dick, and I really did antagonize you, and he did.
Yeah.
And I hope more things like that can happen.
Yeah, because it doesn't just start at this Harvey Weinstein, I'm a powerful man, I can do what I want. It starts at the frat parties, it starts on the comedy scenes, it starts at the house parties and things like that.
It's a thing of not liking the truth. It's not cool to be the person at the party. If somebody makes a rape joke, for you to be like, Chad, not cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's not cool to be that person.
The guy, Jason Momoa, that's on Game of Thrones, he cracked the joke at the little thing or whatever, saying it's great being on the show, I get to rape beautiful women. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, but I mean, it was in terms of, I love Jason Momoa, and I'm
yeah, I like it too.
In terms of, he was like, it's cool to be on a sci-fi show because in those realms, he's like, you guys can't deny that you guys want to rape women sometimes. I don't.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Well, that's good.
But it's just like him crack.
I see, but even I'm apologizing for his behavior because I've been taught so much
that's okay.
No, to apologize for men. Like, they're basically, when you are socialized into society,
so apologize for stuff
you have to justify in your mind what a guy did.
Yeah.
So if a guy, says something about your boobs, well, your boobs are out. Yeah. But you know what? I have big boobs and I want to be comfortable. So why can't you just be an adult?
Exactly.
And fucking just respect that I'm a person.
It's this whole thing of telling women they have to dress a certain way to appease.
Right.
Well, you never know how a guy could act. Well, no, we need to nip that in the bud. That guy doesn't need to act. That's
But
the problem.
We do the same thing with black people, right?
Yeah.
So black people should assimilate to white culture.
Exactly.
So don't wear a fro. I'm wearing a wig right now.
Right.
I mean, mainly because I'm lazy as fuck. Really, that's why I was hungover. But that's true. Like, there are kids getting kicked out of schools because they're wearing their hair naturally.
Black people have to do things to make white people
feel comfortable. So women have to do things to make men feel comfortable. So if they take out their dick, we have to somehow make that situation
it's funny when
bearable.
we do it. It's funny. It's
or
stupid.
it's cute, or it's just a guy being a guy. Like
exactly, and that's the problem. Boys, that whole boys are just being boys thing. That's the thing. We need to. Well, I guess we need to reshape what it is to be a boy then, because like, that's bad.
You know what's really the big stressor is being like where we are.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this earlier. You guys, we're like friends. But we were talking about we're at this level where we're coming up in comedy.
Yeah.
And to me, yes, lots of guys have said weird things to me or done creepy things to me.
Yeah.
But at times it feels like, don't make a big deal about that. You know, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But then when you hear they've been doing it to all these other people, then you
That's
feel...
a problem. It's a pattern.
So something like a Harvey Weinstein, if people are not talking about it, which these actresses... It is so difficult to be an actress in Hollywood.
Oh my gosh,
to
I'm sure.
make it in Hollywood.
I heard a black actress, literally a casting director told her the reason why certain black actresses aren't getting in is because y'all won't do what these other girls will do for me. That's crazy.
That's true. You have to literally like sell your soul. That's why, like, if I don't make it, I really don't care. I'm like, you know what? There are things I'm not gonna do.
Yeah.
But there are people who will do anything, and there are guys who need their ego stroked so much that they will ask anything of them.
And it's this whole having
And
power
so
over a woman.
it feeds into itself.
Yeah.
And so if we're not talking to each other, if we're not calling each other out at these low levels,
Exactly.
that's how people progress.
Yes.
So I feel guilty because we all know that there are creepy guys who will slide into your DMs and say some weird shit or yell at you in public because you didn't have sex with them or something.
Yeah.
And that's the really hard balance because I don't like to be a drama. I don't want to be a drama queen, and people know that when I'm dramatic, like I'll cry in public, I'll make a big scene if I fucking need to, like if I feel it.
It's okay.
But I'm so desensitized to guys saying weird shit to me
Because it has happened so much and it's been okay for so long.
Right, that I don't even think about it anymore.
And just like when women, and I've seen this in like my own family, there's been, you know, just with stories I've heard in my whole family, in my own family where like cousins or aunts back in the day when they were younger, if they would come to an adult and say like, well, so and so did this or touched me or whatever, it's just kind of like, okay, be quiet. Like, it's like we don't want to cause a scene. It's like saving face is more important than my body and things like that. And so for, like you said, women are so apologetic to men in these things because they've been taught since this age, like, I just need to get over it. And that's really the problem. Like, I'll see, like you said, with black people, they'll apologize for things if they make a white person feel uncomfortable. I'm like, no, don't apologize for that. Like, they need to be able to operate and be around people. And so that's why, like, guys, like, we have to, I guess with men, we have to, like, create a culture to where making women uncomfortable is just going to be unacceptable from now on.
You guys have to call each other out.
Exactly.
I mean, it's really that thing of like, and you got every guy group has the dude who always goes too far.
Right.
Every guy group has that group.
Right.
I know that.
Right.
And you're like, it's kind of like every girl group has that girl who gets way too drunk.
Yeah.
And like wants to flash her tits or something.
Yeah.
You gotta stop her from flashing her tits, right? That's what I would do.
Yeah.
You gotta stop him from trying to grow. You just gotta be like, it's too much.
Exactly, because then you get these things like Harvey Weinstein. Nobody stopped him, and the thing is, there are people that are reported they knew what was going on. People on the board, people that worked with him, they knew it. So I'll never put blame on one of these actresses that were in their 20s and they just didn't tell anybody because there's so much shame that comes with it. I put the blame on the people that were working with him that knew about it. That's why I hate when people are just like, oh well, if they got sexually assaulted, why didn't they say something because it could happen to another girl? Well, the thing is, they don't know if this has happened to another girl.
Exactly, it's like
and it's just like
female gossip has got to happen.
And so it's just like, and I hate the way Hollywood works because you're literally using somebody's passion and their dream against them to have this power over them to where I can do whatever you want because you want this so bad and you're not going to tell anybody because I'm big, you know. And so like I heard the recording of Harvey talking to this European model and it was really just disgusting. She said she was uncomfortable like 50 times, and he literally said like, well, if you don't do this, you'll never see me again. I was like, what? And these are guys with wives and kids and all this kind of thing. So you have
These are
kids.
also politicians. These
Yes.
are also managers at Lowe's.
Exactly.
These
It's
are
across all
also
spectrums.
managers at Hooters, which
Yeah.
is like
Shit,
they're
I'm
supposed
sure.
to protect us from not getting harassed.
I feel bad
One
for
of my
those
managers
Hooters.
at Hooters got fired for sexually
That's the thing.
harassing the women there.
That's the thing, because, like, I flirt with waitresses every now and then, but whenever I go to Hooters, I just don't, because I'm just kind of like, they've probably been getting hit on all day. Like, I had a Hooters waitress even, like, give me their number one time and, like, talk to me, but I was still just kind of like, eh. So I'm like, you've been getting hit on, like, all day, and I know it. So the first time I'm like, hey, how you doing? Like, I'm just going to be like, fuck you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just...
But any waitressing job, really, I've worked many places. If
Like
you're
the-
ever nice to a guy, they're like, oh, she's into me.
I've heard-
And then they, like, lay it on.
I've heard of, like, I've heard stories from friends that are waitresses that guys put their hands in their skirts and groping them. It's like, I would never do something like that. So to me, it's just like, what? It's like a white person finding out about racism for the first time. And so I'm just like, guys do that to women that are on their job and they're not getting in trouble for this. And she said, yeah, my manager didn't do anything about it because they tip.
It's so weird because, see, this is the nice thing, and this is where wealth comes into it with the Harvey Weinstein thing.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were paid for my college. I didn't have any debt. They paid for my sorority fees, like everything.
Mm-hmm.
I did not want for anything. I wanted to work at Hooters. I was a sociology major. I didn't really understand why women would work there.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't like cheerleading when I was in high school, and I thought it was really sexist.
Yeah.
And then I tried out for it, and I was like, oh, this is really fucking fun. If I don't like something, I want to get to know more about it. And
So you see why.
I met some really, like, amazing women who were, like, going through grad school and, like, really smart chicks.
Mhm.
And I realized a lot of stuff about other ways that men value beauty in women. Like, there were girls that I was like, they're not very cute, but guys would always ask for them, and they were like, she's just so funny. And I was like, that's so cool to know that guys really do. Like, guys would just come to be like, come and hang out.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing to know. But, like, in terms of wealth, I had a guy say to me, I had a guy say to me, he was disappointed. They were mad because I was black. So I was like, you can have any other fucking waitress you want. That's fine. I live in Virginia. So that's Virginia.
That's happened to a friend of mine before.
People do that.
Yeah.
But then I was transferred a table of guys who were already drinking, and
That sounds great.
I got them a new pitcher. I put it on the table. I was checking on other tables. I came back. They hadn't been drinking their beer, and I was like, oh, are you guys okay? And they're like, we're waiting for you to pour it. And I was like, you have 2 hands.
What?
And they were like, there goes your tip. And I was like, I don't give a shit. Like, if you're in a position where you don't need it,
Yeah.
you don't have to take shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you're in a position where you do
Yeah.
need that job or need that break or need that whatever, you're gonna do things because people rely on you, because you have to pay your rent.
For sure.
Because those are real things.
Because, like, reading the story, like, with Gwyneth Paltrow and stuff like that, she's like, I needed that role, but she said, like, I was so scared, and it's just crazy how that could work. And it's interesting to me how many, like, stories keep coming out every day, and then more and more people. So hopefully that, and I kind of hate that that's the way that this has to end, because I hate the idea of people having to relive their trauma just to have a problem fixed. Like, why can't somebody say there's sexual assault in Hollywood and we need to stop it, and that makes people stop it? Why do I have to tell a 30-minute story of how somebody groped me and made me feel uncomfortable and relive that trauma in front of you just to get you to care?
The same way why we have to keep talking about how black people keep getting killed
I
by everywhere on Earth.
I can't, like, I hate when people share those police shooting videos on Facebook. I can't watch them. For my mental health, like, I've had a really bad experience with police. And so watching those videos, like, I see myself in that stuff. And so it's just like, I can't watch those. And so it's just like, the thing is, for some white people, they're never going to get it until they watch a black dude running away from a cop get 9 shots in his back for no reason.
At the end of the day, I mean, honestly, the Las Vegas shooting, and I don't know if anybody said this or wants to say this, and it's probably not a good thing to say, but it's true.
Okay.
Could not have been better that it was a white shooter and a country concert.
Yeah.
Quite honestly.
That's crazy.
Because the racial divide in this country is so bad right now.
Yeah,
if that had been like a hip hop concert or something, like that would have been
hip hop concerts are white kids.
Well, I feel like it wasn't. I don't know. I'm just saying. I feel like if that had been anything racial, that would have been.
Oh, that would have been terrible.
Terrible.
That would have been terrible.
So, like, in a way, I was a little relieved that happened. But I mean, yeah. I mean, you got, like, we have to keep talking
Yeah.
about it. But I mean, it all comes down to money. Like, we just need more. We
Yeah.
need to keep talking about this stuff and pushing
People
stuff.
have what
like
happened to
black
Weinstein.
NFL owners.
Yeah.
They need to own
What
it
happened
too.
to Weinstein needs to happen to these creeps. You just need to get removed.
But people are really scared about losing their jobs. And I think now, today, in 2017, with the social media
Yeah.
and videos and cameras.
Because other people are sharing stories about other people, like Rose
Yes.
with this Amazon chief guy
Right,
and all
Jeff
this kind
Bezos.
of stuff. Yeah.
With that, we have so much more power
Yes.
than we did before.
Same.
Like when
women and
Gwyneth
people of color,
Paltrow was getting assaulted by Harvey Weinstein, there weren't
No.
cell phones,
No,
like
there
like
weren't.
flip phones that you could like take a
Exactly.
video of.
Now I'm just like, somebody tries to do something to me, like I'm recording you and it's
People
on
record
Twitter
it
in
right
10
away.
seconds, you know?
Right.
And so it's just like social media has been, like you said, just such a great avenue for people of color, women, the LGBT community, for our voices to be, you know, projected, because really, if you had privilege and you didn't care, you just were able to not care. But now it's so in your face, you have to. And that's why, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm talking about racism, because this is the first time in their life they're actually having to talk about it.
Right.
And you can't just skate away from it, because I feel like even people of color, even at this point, is like, no, I want what's mine, and I should be treated like a regular person. Women are at the point now where they're like, I should be treated just as an equal, which you guys should. And so
I think a lot of wanting to be involved in the workplace was a lot of accepting sexual harassment.
Yes,
Because we
which
were
is
only allowed to be
ridiculous.
secretaries, and
Yeah.
we had to do weird shit, and
Right.
you know, the sweethearts and the honeys and like all that kind of name call. Like,
Yeah.
if you had called that out then,
Right.
you would be out of a job.
Exactly.
You know, so it's
Exactly.
like we're at this point where I think we're secure enough in that enough of us know what's right
Exactly.
to do what's right.
That's so
So how are
good.
you gonna call out men?
Me? How am I gonna call them in? I mean, I feel like I do it already because I was just raised to do that. Like, if I have friends that have even gotten mad at me because I'll tell like, hey, that's not right. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like calling that out, making sure, and always making sure I'm in the right way. Like, I don't need to be doing anything because that's gonna look hypocritical. You know what I'm saying? So watching my own actions, but definitely when you hear something, you nip it in the bud, because like I wouldn't want you to say something, think it's okay, and then end up acting on it 10, 15 years from now. You know what I'm saying? And so I'd rather nip it in the bud now with you joking about it or even saying something along those lines. And it's just like, and my whole thing is like, I always want the women that are around me, whether we're hanging out, whether we're writing, whether we're doing whatever, I want you to feel comfortable around me. I don't want you to ever feel like, because like they were saying, Ashley Tisdale, she did Scary Movie 5. She said, I didn't ever meet with Harvey. I talked to him on the phone, but multiple people told me don't be in a room by themselves. Don't be in the room by yourself.
Jesus. Can you
My
imagine
thing
if
is-
that's what somebody says about
My
you?
thing is, okay, if you're already warning women, don't be in a room by yourself with Harvey Weinstein. Maybe Harvey Weinstein's the problem, not the room and the girl. And you need to
100%.
nip that in the butt. And so that's just the way I see it. Just calling it out where it is now, and if I see it, do something about it. Because I'm just the type of person, I'm gonna be as whatever you call me, social justice warrior, whatever you want to call it. If I see a problem, I want it fixed. I don't care if that means me not having a job later. I don't care if that means whatever, because I feel like the real truth will always be, you'll be taken care of. So that's just what I
I mean, that's what it takes. Is people not worried
because
about
I
that
mean, it's
part.
just like I'm really angry at all the people over the years that have known what this guy has been doing and probably doing the same thing. And
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
people get really scared, and I think that we want to think that people are. I always look for the good in people,
Yeah.
but I think I'm very naive to how dark people can be,
Yeah.
and how much they will try to save their own backs,
Yeah.
and people will throw people under the bus to
Yeah.
save their own backs, and so if that means keeping somebody's terrible secret, or maybe he has something on them, like there's just
Yeah.
so many.
that's because
Politics
Harvey
and that.
Weinstein is not the only guy doing this.
No.
It's probably a Justice League of them niggas doing this stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's just like there's people probably that know certain things that were doing it with them.
But here's the thing about calling people out early that I want people to really understand is that if you get called out early enough, like now,
Yeah.
I mean, if you really try to change your actions and be decent, I'm not gonna vilify you,
Yeah, exactly.
or ostracize you, or
Because the
whatever.
whole point of that is to
You
foster
need to
change,
be better.
and rehabilitation.
Right.
That,
But you really have to make those steps because
exactly.
it does feel shitty to call people out when like they don't even have any. You're like, oh, they're barely even doing anything, whatever. But you cannot let people who are showing those very clear signs of being harassers and sexual abusers you cannot let them progress if they're not going to face.
Because my thing is, I think of who this victim could be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the more important thing, not this person's feelings.
Right.
So yeah, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having
I
me.
appreciate it. Like you're a really fun guest. Drop some knowledge on these people. I thank you for coming. Second female guest on the show, but we've done what 5 episodes, so we're doing that's 40% female.
Pretty good ratio.
We trying to do it right.
Be better. No, I'm just kidding.
She was
Comedy
thinking
is a
it,
very
though.
male-dominated
It
field.
really
I
is.
feel like
It
you're
really-
doing a great job.
It really is, but I really want to try to not make that an excuse, though. You know
But
what
it's
I'm
true.
saying?
No, but I mean, you just take people. I have a podcast. It's called Hot Chicks Aren't Funny.
Yeah, what a good thing.
It's called Hot Chicks Aren't Funny. But I mean, no, I think you got to get people when it's in a good time so you have good, meaningful conversations. Don't let that can be a big thing that people try to really shame you on.
Yeah.
But oftentimes too, I think it's a detriment to pull up women sometimes when they're not ready.
Okay.
So I don't mean just in podcast, but like on stage, and it's just like everybody go through the grunt of it. When you're really interested in somebody, ask and have them up.
Yeah, you're right.
But make an effort. But what you're doing, but just follow you. You're a good person.
Appreciate it.
You don't have any Harvey Weinstein.
She thinks I'm a good person. Ain't that sweet? That's cool. Some people would disagree with F them. Whatever. Bump y'all hating niggas. But anyway, Courtney, where can we find you on social media? If you don't want us to find you on social media, you don't have to say.
I would like you to find me on social media and say
Okay.
nice things. Twitter at Courtney Banks, Instagram the Courtney Banks, and follow my podcast on Instagram at Hot Chicks Aren't Funny, and you can see it on iTunes, Stitcher, or iHeartRadio.
Okay. Wow. She's on a lot. We just on YouTube. We don't have a budget.
I wish I was on YouTube.
Right. So yeah, that was Secret Black People Meeting episode 5. Men, we gotta do better. I think that's what we learned.
Call each other out.
Men have got to do better. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.